More on this, I'm joined by Matthew Merry Caruchet. Let's start with the big question. What's caused Trump to back down?
Well, as you said, Saudi Arabia has reportedly asked for restraint, but Trump said it wasn't just Saudi Arabia that convinced him. Here's his post. He said, "We have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack. I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal." Now, Iran says it never made such a request for Trump to back down. Iranian media has called this just more lies and says that the country is still on high alert, believing that the U.S. may still attack. In terms of other countries, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, and Pakistan have also pushed the U.S. to back down this week. They, like Saudi Arabia, are worried because Iran has used this lack of a ceasefire to expand the circle attacks in the Middle East. This week, they also hit gas tankers in Egypt, so a country that was so far away from Iran that it hasn't been involved in the war yet. Iran wants to make the U.S. allies wary of their military partnership with the U.S. and perhaps convince them to change their tack in the future. It also wants to raise the costs of this war for the U.S. to the point that any future deal will allow it to control the Strait of Hormuz, something that the U.S. has said would never happen.
Now, Trump keeps saying there's a deal approaching soon. Could there be?
Well, there could be, I don't know, but the U.S. and Iran are not in direct negotiations. On Saturday, Qatari mediators held talks with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, White House envoy Steve Witkoff, and Omani officials to secure an agreement for the Hormuz Strait. But it met with all of them individually. Regardless, Trump has said that a deal to the war is close dozens upon dozens of times, and we haven't actually seen that come to fruition. So the biggest problem facing a diplomatic end to this war might be Trump's eroding credibility. He often announces things will happen and then they don't. Do you remember Taco from last year? Trump always chickens out. Trump was threatening tariffs on tons of countries worldwide, and Wall Street investors were betting against him, saying that they will never happen. And oftentimes they were winning money because those tariffs never materialized. In terms of Iran, this cycle of Trump threatening escalation and then backing down has happened numerous times in the past few months. And repeatedly, Iran has said that it doesn't trust the U.S. to keep its word. And there is history to back this up. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was broken during Trump's first administration. This was the 2015 international agreement that limited Iran's nuclear program in exchange for relief from economic sanctions. This took years upon years of diplomacy. And then in 2018, Trump just reordered sanctions and withdrew the U.S. from the deal. So Iranians feel that Trump is always going to change its mind. And it's getting harder for them to trust that if any deal is struck, that it's going to stick. And this is dangerous because he might not back down forever. If people keep saying he doesn't keep his word, he might escalate things to prove them wrong.
Now, we haven't heard from Netanyahu yet, but we know the relationship with Trump hasn't been the best recently. Is Israel going along with Trump's plans? Well,
Trump says Israel is going along with its plans. And just a few days ago, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it is Trump's decision on how to proceed with Iran. This is what he said to CBS on Wednesday. He said, "The truth is we're partners, we're allies. He's the senior partner. It's the United States of America. Let's not forget. And I'm a junior partner." So it makes sense that Trump feels he can speak for Israel. Publicly, they try not to disagree. But reports say privately they aren't seeing eye to eye. This deal might be seen as a setback for Netanyahu, who has been much more hawkish in the war. Let's not forget, he has been pressing the U.S. to bomb Iran since the 1990s. He presented Presidents George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden with plans to attack Iran, all of whom refused. It was only Trump who agreed. So he's known to be skeptical that any long-term peace deal can be reached, even if that's what Trump has signaled that he wants.
Matthew Merry Caruchet, thank you so much for your insights.